sports and leisure heflings and leisure sports and leisure heflings and leisure sports and leisure with heflings and leisure sports and leisure heflings and leisure sports and leisure heflings and leisure. This is sports and leisure with heflings and leisure.
I mean, I could talk Pats all day, but
Okay. Well, first thing, let's just go. What did you like?
what did I like?
Okay, yeah. How what do you think, Joe Burrow, number one pick? Is he going to live up to be the number one pick of this draft and be the right choice?
I think so, but there's only 1 year to go off of. But
Does he win a Super Bowl?
Well, I don't know. He plays for the Bengals.
That's true, but if you think about it, the
Consider
Bengals have had good teams recently. Like with Andy Dalton, you think about the teams that he made the playoffs with. Like he was the
Yeah,
weakness,
it's been
and
about
everybody
4 years. So.
and everybody knew that. Well, I mean, I don't know if they still have the same GM, but I mean, if you do, heck, maybe even bring back Marvin Lewis. If they could put those teams around him, he could make a run at it. I think maybe make a Super Bowl. If you think back to the teams that Dalton had, if you replace him with Joe Burrow, he would win. He'd at least win one playoff game, probably a couple. And who knows? They could caught a heater one of those years and made the Super Bowl if it would have been Joe Burrow instead of Andy Dalton. And I think that's
I love Joe Burrow. I think he's awesome. According to PFF, Pro Football Focus, he's like the best player that they've ever analyzed, like as far as all their metrics go.
Yeah.
But then again, he's got first round running back this year, first round receiver.
They did a good job drafting. They went and got T. Higgins in the second round. The third round, they got a linebacker, Logan Wilson out of Wyoming. Fourth, they got an outside linebacker. And then they get
T. Higgins. He's from
Clemson.
LSU too, right?
No, he went to Clemson.
Oh, Clemson. I got it mixed up. Yeah.
He actually he went to school here in Tennessee. He went to Oak Ridge, which is like just outside of Knoxville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he should have gone to Tennessee, but thanks, Butch Jones.
Well, who's the receiver from Clemson then? And why can't I think of his name?
Cooper Kupp. No, he didn't go to Clemson. He went to SMU.
No, I mean he was drafted this year, right?
I think so. I mean, there had to have been one Clemson receiver. But anyway, yeah, that's my guess for what Joe Burrow does. He probably does, has...
He's Clemson.
Yeah, he's Clemson. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. No, we're thinking LSU. Goddamn. My brain ain't working. All right, go on. Sorry.
I think he plays well, kind of like Matthew Stafford. They make the playoffs, or I think maybe he could be better than Andy Dalton. It just depends on who they surround him with in Cincinnati.
Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson, they were both drafted out of LSU. That's who it was.
I thought Justin Jefferson was Clemson.
No, LSU.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
So, what other things did you like in the first round? What were some good picks you think that'll play well?
Oh, as far as obviously your guy for the Redskins.
Yeah.
There's no way he's gonna bust.
Well, as soon as you say that, he is going to play for the Redskins. Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought the same thing about RG3, and that didn't work out. But defensive end, for him to be a defensive end, I think that helps. Quarterback, it's a lot harder to be great as a quarterback, whereas defensive end, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do because, like I said earlier in a couple episodes, that defensive line is going to have to be really good because the secondary is going to be probably awful again. I mean, they still have Landon Collins, which is good. Hopefully he does better. And they're just going to have no-name cornerbacks because they got rid of Norman and Dunbar, who wanted to be traded. So,
yeah, they still might be in the running for Trevor Lawrence this year.
Well, it depends. That depends on what Haskins does, how he plays. I think the defense should be okay. Like I said, we have 4 first rounders on the defensive line. You know, Young and Sweat and Allen
Yeah, they're gonna trade one of them guys.
and Ryan Kerrigan. It'll probably be Ryan Kerrigan who gets traded because this is his last year too, and he's the oldest. So they better not trade any of those. If they're gonna trade anybody, it better be Ryan Kerrigan, which hurts me to say because I love him and he's one of my favorite.
Yeah, but you want to think of value. You
Yeah.
know, if you
But I don't think he'll get much value. It's funny because Steven actually texted me about this last night that they were looking. I think he's already in trade talks. So I don't know how much you can get back for him. Best case scenario, he comes out and plays really well and gets a lot of sacks. Has like 8 or 9 like midway point and gets traded at the deadline to a contender. That'll be
yeah.
best
I'm
case
thinking
scenario
before
for
the
us.
season, even they need some offensive talent.
Yeah, I mean. But I don't think that'll happen. That's a far-fetched idea for him to play that well because he was injured last year and he is getting up there in age. But he has been a really good
So they
player.
won't be able to really trade him because they can't really get a value back for him at this point.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
you're getting at.
Which, I mean,
But
sucks because
that's my point why they might trade one of the better guys because, like, I don't know, the 49ers, they traded that DeForest Buckner and, they...
but they had a Nick Bosa. I mean, I don't know if we have a Nick Bosa there.
Well, yeah, you do. You have Nick Bosa. You have better than Nick Bosa.
Well,
Chase Young.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not ready to throw away the whole house yet, but I want to keep those guys. I mean, and also, but Ryan Kerrigan
point, coming out of college, you got what's his name? That Young is much higher.
I'm
rated.
excited about it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm not holding my breath quite yet. But Kerrigan is 1 sack behind being the lead leaguer, not the Redskins' leading sacker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 1 behind Dexter Manley. So hopefully he'll get that, and then he does really well, and they can trade him away for something. But I hope they're not in the running next year. I want them to have a promising year.
Yeah.
So
did they draft a running back this year? The Skins.
Running back / wide receiver. That dude out of Memphis. What's his name?
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick a lot.
Anthony Gibson. Which is good because you can't have too many good running backs, and he also plays wide receiver. He's actually listed as a wide receiver, but he'll be coming out of the backfield a lot too, and that'll be good because
more teams are going to these hybrid guys anyway. It's huge. I think that's the big reason why the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts too. I think that's going to be huge for them. He's going to be your running back, quarterback type guy.
Yeah, I don't know if he's athletic enough to do that. I don't think he's like Tyson Hill, who can catch passes and all that.
Now, fuck Taysom Hill. Jalen Hurts is better than Taysom Hill.
I mean, maybe at being a quarterback, but being a Swiss utility knife like that, no, I don't think so.
I disagree. Jalen Hurts is one of the best rushers in the league, or in college last year.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, I don't know. Taysom Hill's 30 years old. Like, he's
not that
overrated.
old.
He plays for the Saints. They do stupid nonsense bullshit with him and drive me nuts. Like, I don't know. That's the most overrated.
He was like
in the entire
in that last playoff game against the Vikings. He was like the only dude doing anything.
Yeah.
Like you were watching that game and the Saints were down, and then all of a sudden Hill would break off like a 28-yard run, and then 2 plays later, like a 15-yard catch, and then 2 plays later, a QB sneak up the middle for 15 yards. Like he was their only source of offense. It seemed like, especially in that first half for the Saints. But I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Percy Harvin had a good year too, doing shit like that.
Yeah, the Eagles were sneaky in doing this, like because they're saying they really did it because they needed a backup for Wentz, and they think Wentz is going to get hurt again, and they're not really trusting of him. That's why they did it. But they're saying they're going to do all this other extra stuff with him to kind of cover up that fact.
Yeah, I love it. What they're doing. They got Jalen Reagor from TCU as well. Because their receivers are a bunch of fucking dopes.
Yeah, they drafted
like Deshaun Jackson,
bunch of receivers
when he plays like 4 games a year, but he's always hurt.
Well, he's definitely past his prime. Where are the Eagles at? Okay, yeah, they got Reagor, and then they drafted another wide receiver in the 5th. and another one in the 6th, which, I mean, they need because they were decimated last year in the receiving core. But I think they've – who else signed with him, or did they trade for somebody?
Oh, I don't know. I have that information kind of on my phone rather than.
Okay. Well, who are some other picks you liked in the first round?
Some other picks? Well.
Oh, okay. Well, you've given enough. Do you have any?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of did it by team. Kind of figured there's like teams and what I liked that they did. I don't know if I really rated like.
Okay. Well, then you do teams.
I love a lot of the first round picks. I think the Raiders were kind of weird to pick, Henry Ruggs over, CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, who are both better all around receivers. They just aren't really fast.
Well, I think they probably picked him up because they were afraid the Chiefs were going to try and sneak in there somehow and get him because they were saying that they wanted him because he was just so fast, and that's all the Chiefs need is another fast running back. So that's probably why they reached on him.
You think that the Chiefs were going to trade up for another fast receiver when they have too
many
already?
Yes, there were leaks out there. People were saying that they were going after Henry Ruggs.
Well, who gives a shit? Like, they're worried about Chiefs. You don't draft based on what you're worried about another team adding,
If you, yes, you are.
Way better receiver than Ruggs.
I don't know about all that.
Pretty much across the board, everyone thinks that.
Well, that's their opinion.
Has speed.
Oh yeah, I'm agreeing that he's fast.
He's like a Will Fuller type of guy. He's not
but I don't know if CeeDee Lamb is going to be that much better than him.
Yeah, maybe not. It depends on how they use him, I guess.
I suppose, but I'm just saying if he probably will be decent for the Cowboys just because they need that third guy, and he's going to be. He's got Dak Prescott, who's a decent quarterback. It's not like he's going.
Well, in theory, Derek Carr has like a big arm on him. Like he's good at throwing the long ball, which might be the only thing he's good at because he fucking blows. But that might be a good thing for him. He's a guy that can, take the top off of defense. And they have a good running game and all that shit. So maybe it fits their situation better than a all-around good receiver like those other two. I'm not mad at it. I don't know. If I were to judge it in a vacuum, he is the third best receiver behind those other two guys.
Yeah.
But for their fit, I think it's pretty decent.
No,
I don't think the Chiefs had any freaking play in what the reason they did
probably
that.
Not. But I just thought that
it would have been stupid to try to trade up for Ruggs. The Chiefs. Don't you think?
Well, what did you think about
they did draft a running back?
What did you think about the Packers?
The first.
What about the Packers trading up to get Jordan Love?
Well, I'm not as weirded out about that as I am by them picking a freaking running back in the second round right after that. I mean, I think it's good. I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't think you can really be successful with him on your team.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think that
Super Bowl, but
that relationship is fizzling out. I think it's got 2 years left on it, max.
He's a jackass. He can drink his scotch and fuck off. I love his talent, though. I wish he wasn't just a putrid person.
Well, I mean, that's just the way he is. But, I mean, the Packers know that. Everybody knows that, and he has never changed. But maybe he just needs to change his scenery there to...
Well, also they drafted Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was 36, and right now Aaron Rodgers is 36. So
yeah, but
I
Aaron Rodgers
like the guy that much. I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers fell to them. Like, I mean, they didn't have to do nothing. I mean, they traded up to get this guy, and
this guy fell to them too.
Not really fell. I mean, he could have gone in the second round.
I guess so, but they picked freaking Herbert 6 overall, so in theory he fell 20 spots. I'd rather have Love than Herbert. Herbert's going to be a pile of dog shit. He's pretty much Phillip Rivers,
Well, I mean, Phillip Rivers played well. He had good, no,
Herbert's all right, but I mean, I don't know.
Greg's bold statement of the episode right there.
There's people that have talent, and like all these quarterbacks that are drafted high, they have all the talent in the world. But I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I mean, I don't know everything. It's not like I'm a fucking quarterback guru, so.
Yeah. You just don't have any faith in Justin Herbert doing anything.
No.
Yeah.
And probably that's because he went to Oregon. And, I mean,
We'll see. I mean,
he's got
the talent around him. He cannot come, but he has a better off coming in than a lot of other teams. He has it better than Haskins has it. He's got way more talent than Haskins has around him. He's probably going to have more talent than Tua has around him, and he's definitely going to have more talent than Burrow has around him for the most part. I mean, you have
Yeah, they have some good receivers.
Yeah, you have Mike Evans right there. Yeah, you have Austin Eckler. They have another wide receiver. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but Mike Williams or something like that. The Chargers, he's definitely got people set up around him. If he's accurate and he can not throw interceptions, he should be decent. And the Chargers, I mean that was their problem last year. Was their offensive line was, but if they can get a better offensive line play and not have somebody throw a football like it's a medicine ball like Philip Rivers was last year, the Chargers could be a better team and make the playoffs. Like, it's not that far fetched.
Yeah, you're right. I just always think there's just something about the Chargers that.
But it's still on him.
I don't see them ever really,
You could be right, and he could be, awful, and
they've been one of the most overrated teams the last 3 years too.
Yeah,
maybe like the talent was rated appropriately, but like it doesn't always matter,
Yeah. Okay, so is that who you think is probably has the chance to be the biggest bust is Justin Herbert then?
I'd say yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt, that's my least favorite pick as far as weighing, how high they're drafted versus how well I think they're going to be.
Nah, I think it's Jordan Love. I don't see him.
I think he'll be solid, but just because the Packers took him. If there was another team that didn't have Aaron Rodgers, that would have been a very good value of a pick.
I think he's going to be a bust in terms of how they got him. They traded up in the first round to get him. I don't think he's going to live up to the hype of doing all that to pick him up in the first round.
Yeah, quarterbacks rarely do.
Yeah, and my second one would probably be Tua, just because I think he's going to be not talent-wise or brain-wise, just his injury-wise. I think he's just going to get hurt too much, and I don't know if he's going to live up to the billing of 5th overall pick. Which is coming out a lot, and he may not have as much around him as Justin Herbert, but the Dolphins are getting better, and in like 2 or 3 years, if he can stay healthy, the Dolphins could be really, really, really good in 2 or 3 years if they continue. But
I think they're a playoff team this year. It depends on Tua, I guess. But.
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't. Fitzpatrick can get you to the playoffs. The end of the year. He can get you to the playoffs, I think.
Right. Yeah. And who knows how much Tua is going to play? With that hip injury, the same one that Bo Jackson got back in the day that completely ended his career.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Technology. You got other things in mind? Because
Who do you think were the biggest steals?
The biggest steals, I think the Cowboys getting CeeDee Lamb was a pretty good steal, based on him falling to what was it?
17.
17.
Yeah.
Just I don't know if that's a steal. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have to be first round. It can be
steals.
It can be overall, not just in the first round.
I don't know that. It's hard to say.
Well, I'm looking
with Justin Jefferson. I like that pick. It's good value.
Yeah, the Vikings. Well, I mean, even it pains me to say this, but the Cowboys had a pretty good draft. I mean, like you said, getting CeeDee Lamb at 17, it's gonna work out because I'm not gonna like it, so that's how I know it's gonna work out.
Then they got Trayvon Diggs.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They got Trayvon Diggs in the second round, who people thought could go in the first. And I don't know what they do in the third.
What really surprised me is that C.J. Henderson was the first cornerback taken.
Well, then they get that.
Or the second, I guess, Okudah, yeah.
They get that defensive tackle at Oklahoma in the third. The Cowboys did.
Oh, did they? What's his name?
Gallimore. Neville Gallimore.
Interesting. You know what I liked? If I were a fan of any team, I would be most excited if I was a Broncos fan about the draft that they had.
Yeah, they're wide receivers. Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, that is a freaking wrecking crew.
Yeah, that's
And
gonna
if,
be that's gonna be
Lock,
cool.
which I thought
How
was the best quarterback in the draft last year.
yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of second round guys that are gonna be really really good, and like you said, he's gonna be good.
KJ Hamler is a burner too.
Yeah, I think
And
AJ.
Jeudy, he can, he's like the Reggie Bush of wide receivers. He's nuts.
I think AJ Espinoza falling in the second round out of Iowa into late second round is ridiculous. I think he's gonna be very good with the Bills. J.K. Dobbins, I think going into the Ravens, he's going to be very good. I thought he slipped a lot, and same thing with Cleveland.
He's a running back, though. That's appropriate.
Yeah, well, and then same thing with the tackle for the Vikings that went from Boise State, Cleveland. I think Kim Fawn, he fell in the second round, it feels like. There's somebody in the first round, and then, of course, the Buccaneers getting that tackle out of Iowa. I thought he was going to be one of the first ones taken off. I thought he was going to go to the Giants. Yeah,
I've heard there's a video of him, and he's like nipple deep in a pool, and he like jumps completely out.
Yeah, he's
That's
like
freaking
he's
insane.
not. He's like it's like mid thigh, I would say, deep. He's like,
that's how deep he was out.
yeah, I've seen it's, and I could be under it, but it was above his knee. I'm pretty sure, and he jumps. Yeah, it's insane. Like how he does. It's crazy.
Well, didn't the Vikings, they drafted like the top center in the draft, and they got him in like the fifth freaking round. That's pretty good value there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, any
I'm using the iPad, I don't have mine.
Huh?
Just subscribe to PFF.
Okay. What other? Anything else you gotta say about the draft?
Oh yeah.
Which teams? Okay, we haven't really talked bad. Which teams had a bad draft? Do you think?
Oh.
What about your Patriots? Talk about your Patriots.
Well, they drafted a kicker in the fifth round. That was dumb. That was probably the dumbest pick in the entire draft. Because they didn't need to draft him. He wouldn't have been drafted, and they took him in the fifth round instead of getting another one of these depth receivers or really anyone on the freaking entire NFL draft board would have been a better pick than him, because he would have been there. He was like the 12th rated kicker, and they take him in the fifth round.
Yeah.
But as far as
early
Uche, I think that's a badass pick. Like he was the top rated pass. He had the best win rate in pass rushing last year. I know. I mean, it's less of a
Well, in the Big Ten, that's pretty bright. What about your first pick?
Not as much to go off of. And Kyle Duggar, he's a freaking machine. I think if he played for Alabama or something, he would have been in the top 10, top 15 pick.
Yeah. Yeah. So, overall, are you happy with it, or are you sad with the draft for the Patriots?
Well, I'm happy with it. A lot of people hated it. I'd say most people hated it, especially Patriots fans. But fuck them. I don't know. They got that Asiasi from UCLA, and I kind of like him. I like that guy. Yeah. I mean, Cole Kmet was from Notre Dame. He was the top-rated tight end, but I watched every Notre Dame game, and to me, that is not the guy I'd want as my tight end.
Yeah. Well, they drafted two tight ends, in the third, both of them in the third round, picks
Dalton
apart.
Keene from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so maybe they're trying to recreate Gronk and Hernandez there with those two guys.
And I think they pretty much could be doing that. I mean, that could work out. Asiasi, he ran like a 4.7 40, and he's a big mutt. He's Black Gronk, basically.
Gronk.
Which I love. If Gronk was black, he'd be even better.
Yeah. I still love that New Year's party when he throws Steve Harvey's Lego head and just shatters it, and it's good.
I love it.
What did you think about the Redskins draft? I'm interested as an innocent bystander.
Well, can you lay it out for me real quick?
Okay. Well, obviously you know Chase Young, and then they did not have a second round pick. Where are they at?
I'm about there right now
They
too.
didn't have a second. They didn't have a second round pick. It went to the
Antonio Gibson, 3rd round.
Yeah, they get him out of Memphis, which I like. The more I look at him, and apparently they got a tackle out of LSU who's really good in the 4th round.
Sadiq Charles.
Yeah, Sadiq, I think. Yeah, Charles. And then went and got another receiver, Antonio Gladdy, Golden.
Gandy Golden.
Gandy Golden.
Out of Liberty? That's kind of crazy.
Then they got a center, Keith Ishmael out of San Diego State. Then Khaleke Hudson out of Michigan, the linebacker. And then a safety and a defensive end.
I'm kind of indifferent on it. I don't know. I like their 1st and 3rd round pick. Other than that, I don't really know the guys, so I can't.
Yeah, I'm interested in Antonio Gandy Golden and what's his name, Antonio Gibson. I think the Antonios are definitely going to be needed for Haskins to succeed.
Antonios have a good track record and
at receiver
too.
Yeah, at catching the ball, Antonio Gates and as well as Antonio Brown. Hopefully they can just that'd be nice if one of them turned into those. So yeah, I'm not disappointed. I'm just we're interested to see who sticks and.
Hey, so who? Why don't they have a 2nd round pick? Where'd that go?
Oh, dang it! I had it before. It went to the Colts, I think, and then they traded it to. No, we had it for the Panthers, I think, and then it went to the Colts. I forgot what it was. It was some obscure trade.
So, what do you think of their draft?
Oh, we got the okay. I know what happened now. We traded it to the Colts last year to move up, in the 1st to get Sweat. A couple years ago when we got Montez Sweat, we traded up and gave it to for the Colts and gave him this pick. And they got Michael Pittman Jr. for that.
What about undrafted guys?
The Redskins did draft Thaddeus Moss. They're not drafting. They signed him up as an undrafted free agent. So, I'm happy about that. I was very happy with that. Actually, I think we'll see how he does. I'm hoping he can. I'm giving him a shot. So. Because we need a tight end, and I don't see there's any reason why he can't go in and be a top 2 or 3 tight end out of the 8 that we have. We haven't had a good tight end. Well, we've had a lot of good tight ends. Just Jordan Reed couldn't stay healthy. But the Redskins have always had a good tight end. Chris Cooley, Fred Davis, Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed. When he was healthy. So as long as I can remember. I don't see why he can't play well.
I liked Patriots undrafted signings a lot. They got Will Hastings, who was he was Stidham's slot receiver guy, but he tore his ACL, so he wasn't drafted, and then he sat out a year. So that'll be good. And then that Jeff Thomas from Miami, that receiver. Patriots have been getting roasted because they didn't draft any receivers in the deepest draft class, but the guys that they signed are just as good anyway as getting a 3rd or 4th round pick, I think.
Yeah.
Receivers are a dime a dozen now, unless you're top end talent.
Yeah, your offense can get receivers open. There are some guys that no matter the offense, are going to be good, but a lot of times you can make a good receiver out of a good offense.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anything else you have on the draft, Greg? Maybe something you didn't like, or
I didn't like the Jaguars drafted C.J. Henderson over. I don't know. I would have even. I don't know. He's got the talent, but I think that they kind of overreached on that.
At number 9, yeah, I agree. I think he could. Yeah, what you said, he could be a reach.
Oh, let's see. Panthers defensive front. They're going to be. That was a pretty good draft. Getting Derek Brown and Matt Gross-Matos.
Doing nothing but drafting defensive guys. Yeah, it's a
Right.
bold move,
Naturally.
Cotton.
Well, Panthers have low key some of the best receivers in the NFL that people don't realize. They don't realize how damn talented they are.
They don't have Devin Funches anymore, do they?
No, but I'm not referring to him. I can't think of their names right now, but they're two guys that I love. They have a guy from Ohio State. We'll get that a different day. I don't know.
Hold on a minute.
I think they have all the talent they need. They have probably the best, running back in the NFL as far as
DJ Moore.
You can do everything.
They got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Seth Roberts, Farrell Cooper.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
They're very underrated. They're just Cam Newton sucks and Kyle Allen. I mean,
they could
just need a quarterback. Who are they going to have as a quarterback this year?
Sir Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, okay.
And they
get Cam Newton freaking light.
And their backup is PJ Walker.
Where's he from?
Temple.
Yeah. Also, I like what the Lions did. They got Okudah, DeAndre Swift for the running back, and Julian Aquara as a defensive end, which he's from Notre Dame, and his brother Romeo Aquara plays for the Lions as well, both from Notre Dame.
Well, there you go.
Justin Jefferson and Jeff Gladney at cornerback for the Vikings. I like that a lot. And the Browns got Jordan Elliott. He was in the third round on the defensive line, and PFF gave him a first-round grade. So, I mean, he graded better than Derek Brown and Kinlaw against SEC teams, and they got him in the third round. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, they
right
did have a good draft. Hopefully it stays on and
also I really love what the Bengals did.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, we already talked about the Bengals.
Decent receiver, and that Gaither, he's a linebacker. They described him as a rabid cat.
A rabid cat. That's
and
funny.
Another defensive end, Khalid Kareem from Notre Dame. I like that too.
Okay. Are there any this is the last thing. Any real deep sleepers? I'm talking, do we have any Tom Brady's in this class, or Richard Sherman's, some 4th, 5th round guy, 5th or 6th round guys that are going to be possible Hall of Famers or all-stars, all-pros?
Yeah, Jake Fromm.
You think Jake Fromm don't do that? Let me go back.
I think he has potential. He basically is Tom Brady, except with a little less talent. Mentally, I would compare him most to Tom Brady compared to all these other guys.
Where'd he go in the 5th? What round did he go into?
Yeah, 5th to...
I know it was the Bills. There it is, yeah.
Yep.
5th round, 22nd pick.
He'll be playing over that. Wait, yeah, I bet he'll be playing over... What's his name?
Jake Allen?
Yeah, Jake Allen. Or is it Jake Allen?
Yeah, it's Jake Allen.
I thought that was the guy that the Panthers had.
No, that was Kyle Allen. Josh Allen is
gotcha.
It's Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah. All right.
Hey, what, this year or next year?
I think he blows.
When do you think he'll play over him?
I don't know. Probably not this year, because just the way the politics of being quarterback in this league go, even if a guy can be just barely average and he'll play his entire freaking career rather than put someone else in just because they'll take average over possibly suck rather than getting over that line, A lot of teams do that. Like Jay Cutler, if they try to get a new quarterback earlier, the Bears had such a good team that he pissed that away, but probably next year.
I like Cam Brown in the 6th round. For the Giants, he went to Penn State in linebacker. I think he could be really good. And who else? There's somebody else. Then obviously I have to plug at least one Tennessee player, Juwan Jennings. He went in the 7th to the 49ers. I think he could be. I don't know. I just think they got a steal there at 7th round. I think he could have been, going ahead of a lot of other wide receivers that somebody else took. I think Juwan Jennings should have been up higher. So I think he'll be good there. But those are my, deep sleepers. That people that could possibly come out and play a lot better than their 6th, 7th round drafting. Funny question, Greg. Do you know how many number 1 draft picks are in the Hall of Fame? Number 1 overall picks. How many made it to the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. 3.
1. And then
1.
do you know how many undrafted free agents have been in the
Was
Hall
that
of Fame?
Peyton Manning or what?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Was he number 1 overall?
Well, I don't think he's made the Hall of Fame yet. He hasn't been retired for 6 years, has he?
No.
I think it's John Elway.
That'll make 2.
John Elway. That's who it was.
John Elway, yeah.
And there is 1 undrafted free agent that's in the Hall of Fame. I don't remember what his name is, but there's just as many Hall of Famers that have been undrafted and then drafted first overall. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
So there could be one of those this year. You don't know. Like you said, that's why it's kind of hard to grade these teams right now. I mean, we're pretty positive people, so we think that it all pan out. But in reality, most of these guys won't. And nobody knows who.
If you're drafted first overall, your team is so bad, and you're probably going to be a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not saying
a chance to succeed in general.
And obviously, there are a lot less number 1 overall picks than undrafted free agents. So I mean, right there, the odds aren't in your favor as much. And so, yeah, I'm just saying, a lot of the times, people that are pessimistic are more right in these draft cases, just because I mean it's a hard game, and nobody knows who. I mean, there's a can't miss guy every year that ends up being a bust, and it's just doing our best, but nobody's perfect. Nobody even knows really at all how these guys shake out for the most part.
Yeah, no, even guys that this is their only job that
Yeah.
they do this year round.
Mel Kiper
they
and
don't have any idea.
yeah, Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. Yeah, there's 5-minute videos of them coming out every year about who they missed on or who they overvalued and whatnot in every draft. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean they make an analysis on pretty much every player.
Yeah.
Drafted, so there's gonna be a lot that's gonna be wrong. It's kind of a thankless job.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're not too worried about it. They're getting thanked in other ways.
Yeah, money.
Exactly.
Money is a big thank you.
How's quarantine going, Greg? Or this coronavirus?
Well, I mean, other than I can't get like Chinese food or shit like that.
You're still harping on no
good.
Chinese food?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
China got us into this, and now China's not
able to get us out.
not able to get me out.
Okay. Yeah. We've actually opened up stores here where I'm from, and they can open up at 50% capacity, and you have to wear masks and all that stuff. So, I think we're doing this too soon, though, and we're probably gonna have to be shut down again in a week or two when things spike up because people around here are stupid. So it's just gonna get. We're gonna go back, but I think people are enjoying this now.
I don't know. I think the people that are at risk, they need to be responsible for themselves, and I don't think the whole freaking economy should just be demolished.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't want people to die either. So.
Agreed.
It's hard.
Well, yeah, and honestly, I'm just trying to get this thing hurried up and moved on, so I know that there's gonna be football this year. So.
Right.
Once that gets taken out and thrown out, I'm going to be even more upset because
there is I don't know what the hell it was, Oxford or some shit. They're working on something. They're
the vaccine.
They're 80% they say there's 80% chance that they'll have a vaccine by September. They've already given it to like 6 monkeys that have avoided getting it, and monkeys they share 98% of the DNA with humans, so
Yeah.
I mean it's pretty good
so
test.
bananas.
I think they're gonna start testing on humans, so fingers crossed.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully it gets in there so we can have regular football and maybe even finish up hockey or whatever. Have you seen the chain with a proposition for the NBA regular season at all, Greg?
The what?
The proposed changes.
Vegas, like 3 or 4 different places, 3 to 4 games per day per.
Well, I'm talking about for the the baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
I've heard the Arizona thing, but
well, they're talking about splitting all teams up into 3 divisions, like East, North, Northwest, and just based on geographical location. So like it's not NL and American League, and that's not going to matter if you are in the east side of the country. You're going to be playing in the East Division, and like they split it up to where it's like the Pirates and the Red Sox, and like pretty much from anybody in the AL East, except for maybe Tampa, I think. No, they're in the East too, but it would just be that. And then if you're in the north of the country or the west, everybody split up, and it would be. I think it'd be interesting. I think they'd only play 100 games, and you'd only play people in your division. And then hopefully by the time the playoffs come around, stuff has been more lenient to where you could have a playoffs between those top 3 teams.
Why don't they just do a best out of 7 series and go off of last year's standings? The number 1 overall team plays the 32 overall team, best out of 7, and then they just do that all the way to the end.
Well, they want to do it these divisions so you can only stay. So you only stay in that part of the country. Like you can travel and play in your home ballparks, but instead of going to play the Angels, for 18 games, for like 12 games, something like that, you just stay and you play the Pirates instead. Like it's just you stay in your region, and then you get a playoff system out of that, top 2 in each division, I'm guessing, or top 4.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I know we're a sports podcast, but I mean, baseball is as much of a sport as crochet.
All right. Croquet.
What am I talking about?
Croquet is a sport. Crochet is the sewing or knitting or whatever. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that about does it, Greg. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode and our draft analysis and whatnot. Please feel free to give us what you thought about the drafts, who you thought were some steals or some busts. You can comment on any. You can post on our Facebook page or send us an email at sportsandleisurepodcast@gmail.com. And we'll definitely love to listen to your input on the draft. But thanks again for tuning in. Hope you guys tune in to our next episode. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
See ya.